everyone, Rekha Mudaraj live from the KHOU 11 newsroom. It is 2:19 on this Friday. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great week, a great Friday. Comment, say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for tuning in again. It is Friday, so of course we're looking forward to the weekend, but the big story this weekend will be the heat. It is going to be the hottest it has been so far this year. We're going to hear from Erica Lopez a little bit with our forecast for the next couple of days, but we're talking about heat danger. And this is a very serious subject because it encompasses so many things, from kids being left in hot cars. How many times do we hear about that? The Red Cross actually at 2 o'clock is going to offer some great tips this afternoon, ways to prevent this type of tragedy. It's little things like leaving your purse in the back seat or leaving your left shoe in the back seat. They have some other great ways to make sure that you don't leave your child in their car seat. You know, sometimes they fall asleep in that back seat, and sadly it has happened one too many times. So we have great tips on that. We're going to give you those coming up at 4. Also at 4, talking about pool safety. You know, we've had a number of drownings here in Texas. Recently, country music star Granger Smith was revealing that his son, his 3-year-old son, River Kelly Smith, recently died in the family's pool, and it was an accidental drowning. So we'll have a physician here talking about that, and also about heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. Can you tell the difference? We can find that out coming up at 4. The other big story, very sad news, and we are talking about needing your help, the public's help. That is what police is asking for. They need help identifying the robbers who fatally shot a 49-year-old taco truck owner, Enrique Ramirez Ayala. He was a father of one, described as a good, honest, hardworking man. Now, HPD thinks he was targeted by robbers who knew he owned that taco truck and knew his routine. This happened on the southwest side near South Post Oak Road and West Orem Drive last night. So we're going to get you more information and the latest in that case at 4. Okay, this is interesting. When you think Houston rappers, who do you think of? Bun B, Paul Wall, and of course, Slim Thug. You can't forget him, right? Well, recently, the rapper, who actually grew up in Acres Homes, has been working on revitalizing his neighborhood, and he's been doing it with a couple of his friends. And Janelle Fort has how Slim Thug is buying back the block.
He's one of the first faces that comes to mind when you think of Houston rappers. But under the radar, Slim Thug is making a mark in the city.
Thank God I made it out the trap.
That extends beyond the music scene.
I put 500 into.
It's a quest being taken on by rappers across the nation, buying back the blocks where they grew up and reinvesting in them. A movement recently thrown into the spotlight after LA rapper Nipsey Hussle was slain in front of his South Central store.
I seen people raise the question, well, who's Houston's Nipsey? And I seen a few people mention my name.
Quietly, Slim has been buying up properties in his old stomping grounds of Acres Homes.
They had a rock driveway.
And he's doing so with some of his longtime friends. There's Troy Green, Corey Crawford, and LaShawn West. Together, they make up Boss Life Construction.
This world is mine. The goal was to just actually get into the real estate business. For the most part, is how it initially started.
Their plan to rebuild this community had humble beginnings.
We started out in the tax auction, buying properties, and we noticed that there was a lot of people buying from our community that wasn't from there or never been there.
So they decided to try their hands at it themselves. The friends say it was harder than expected.
We just kind of formulated and jumped out on faith, not knowing real estate, learning as we go on our own.
In 2016, they completed their first block, transforming this into this.
We gave it that kind of heights feel, you know. This is Conklin block. We came through and we built 7 homes.
Things began to take off from there. The centralized point of development, Burns Barbecue, co-owned by Crawford, they plan to capitalize off the foot traffic.
We want to try to develop this whole block, this whole neighborhood, build more commercial restaurants around our commercial businesses, so when people from all over the country come in and see it.
In between rebuilding homes in the area like this one.
We're buying older homes or foreclosed homes, and we're remodeling them to make them look better and bringing them more up to date.
They've also just put a handful of new townhomes on the market.
This right here is just luxury living in Acres Home.
But when they see us long-term down the road, they'll say, hey, these guys came into this community and developed this community when a lot of people didn't want to do it, didn't want to touch it, thought it was like just the hood.
And the friends hope that what they're doing inspires others.
Everything that's cool for rappers is bad investments, cars, all that stuff. I'm just trying to encourage the youngsters to get involved with other things.
Man, guys, yeah, this weekend, it is going to be a scorching weekend. I mean, check out these numbers, and we are barely kicking off Friday. Right now, already feel like temperatures ranging from 104 to Columbus to the coastal areas. Galveston feeling like 104 if you're trying to cool off by the coast. And then Palacios now close to 110. So the 110 mark, that's what it's going to feel for us in the Houston area by Sunday. So we're going to get in on some of that action, that's for sure. Here's a look at your weather headlines. The good news is that we hardly see any rain in the forecast. The only rain I'm tracking left today will be a couple of spotty showers along the coast. I'll show you the hour-by-hour forecast in just one sec, but we're going to stay dry. That means a lot of the areas that received flooding over the last couple of days, allowing that water to finally recede, but temperatures are going to be heating up as a ridge of high pressure builds in. And then we're talking about the actual temperature. So lately I've been talking a lot about the feel-like temperature, which is when you factor in the humidity. With the actual temperature, it always feels warmer out there, but we're talking about the actual temperature possibly hitting the triple-digit mark for areas across Southeast Texas. I think that's definitely going to happen. The question is it going to happen for Houston? We're getting very close. Right now, our forecast high is 99 degrees for Sunday. So we have a good chance of maybe hitting that triple-digit mark. And good news, once we get through a very hot weekend, there's actually a cooling trend next week. So next week's not looking too bad, and humidity will be significantly lower also. Here's what's going on radar. Big difference from what we had Wednesday and Thursday. We deserve it. All the tropical moisture is now well east of us, drying out. That's high pressure that moved in, and that's suppressing any rain chances. But it's also going to heat us up with well above average feel-like temperatures. So radar clear right now, minus a couple of spotty sprinkles. We've seen some mist out there. Again, humidity is high, so our atmosphere is very saturated, but we just don't have any disturbances to lift that moisture. Yesterday, we had a lot of moisture out there. Dew points were high like they are today, but we had an area of low pressure, a trough of low pressure that helped lift all that moisture and cause those strong storms in the afternoon. We don't have that. It's just going to be sunny again, high pressure moving in, so that's going to help suppress any rain chances. Here's what we're tracking this afternoon, though. A spotty shower possible, 20%. I think it's only going to be for the coast, okay? But we may pick up a brief heavy downpour at times, just keep that in mind. But then once daytime heating starts to come to an end, then we're talking a mostly clear evening, and it's not going to be too bad for a Friday night. 84 degrees. Still on the muggy side though. So here's those pop-up showers I mentioned for this evening. Just kind of a nuisance, not going to really impact your plans, and they will be very brief, then quickly pushing out. But if you have any plans to head to the coast this evening, say Crystal Beach or Galveston, do not be alarmed if you get a brief pop-up shower. But again, shouldn't ruin your evening whatsoever. So notice a north wind in place. This is going to be our main influence for our forecast, not only for this weekend, but into the next several days. For this weekend, we will have a north wind, but notice how it kind of stops right here. There's going to be a frontal boundary that just kind of dissipates in our area. So it's not strong enough to drag in the cooler, drier air from well north of us quite just yet. That will change as we roll into early next week, though. We will have a stronger north wind that actually drags in lower dew points, slightly cooler temperatures, and it's going to feel magnificent, especially after getting through this weekend. Something else I want to mention, all the rain we had on Wednesday and leading up to Thursday, that washed our allergies out. So grass, we didn't see any grass, we didn't see any weeds, but now that we're drying out, that's going to creep back up. So just keep that in mind if you have any outdoor plans. Grass and weeds are popping back up on our allergy index. So let's get to your weekend forecast and let you know what type of numbers we're expecting for this weekend. The hottest weekend of 2019 expected. Here's a look at our forecast highs. 98 degrees on Saturday. These are near record temperatures as well. 99 on Sunday. This is why I think we're going to see isolated areas across our viewing area who will hit the triple digit mark. Right now our forecast high for Houston is 99 though. Feel like temperatures up to 110 degrees. Also, we haven't had a heat advisory yet. So the National Weather Service, anytime we get a feel like temperature of 108 degrees, and we haven't had that yet, then a heat advisory is likely to be issued, and it will be our first one of the season. Kind of just reminding you guys, you know, we're still acclimating back to the heat after what was the winter and spring-like season that we get here in Houston. So our bodies still have to adapt. Make sure you're giving yourself, you know, breaks from being outdoors in this extreme heat. We have plenty of sunshine out there, so you're going to definitely be under the sun a lot if you're out and about this weekend. Also, make sure you're protecting your skin, whether that's with a baseball cap, whether that's with sunglasses, whether that's with sunscreen. You just want to limit your outdoor exposure also. Check out that cool down though. This is just the start of what's going to bring us some pretty comfortable temperatures next week. The best part about that, though, it's not just the temperature. We are with a north wind. Anytime we have a north wind, that's lower humidity. Anytime we're with the south wind, that's bringing in moisture from the Gulf. So that's what makes it sticky and uncomfortable out there. And that north wind is going to drop us to 90 degrees, a 10-degree temperature drop by Tuesday. Highs may only be in the upper 80s by mid to late next week. And then take a look at the lows, 68 degrees. So that's going to be feeling cool, comfortable, crisp. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it after a very hot weekend. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. We'll have our next newscast live on KHOU 11. You guys can tune in at 4 p.m. But other than that, be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated this weekend.